Dozier cave. Everybody needs one.
Yeah.
You know.
Some place to relax and be yourself.
Yep. You know. And I come put on my 100-year-old bowler. I come sit down here. That's a 100-year-old Stetson.
Wow.
Everybody needs a bowler. I got a set of 1917 Armour saddlebags up there.
Wow.
And I collect M&M guys. I like M&Ms. And I've read all of just some of those books and a little bit on every one of them. I got all the knife books.
That's a lot of books.
I've read some of every one of them. This is what I'm telling Gold. It was the last piece of Sandra Brady done for me.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful. And look at the detail. You have to look at this old Eskimo with a magnifying glass to appreciate him. The stipple. This is when you start appreciating her work.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it. She's gotten really good. Well, she's been good for a long time now.
And what's her name?
Sandra Brady.
Sandra Brady. Wow. That's really cool. That is very cool.
I come in here and sit down and I'll show you a fine knife. This guy is good as anybody. I think good as Rupel. Everybody says Rupel's the best. He normally puts worked backs on them. I don't like that file work. I like the plain.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the craftsmanship. You know, it fits. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But all them damn file grooves there, you don't see nothing.
Right.
Jim Dunlap. He's good as anybody. I've got 3 of his knives. And I have Chris Reeves knives. I probably got a dozen of those. The one's anodized. Now this is one of Jim's knives. And it's just a plain little carbon fiber handle. But it's elegant. It's just so perfect.
Yeah.
I don't do this. You know, I make heavy duty working knives.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have the detail that he puts in these. I sold him my decal pantograph. I had a big German-made decal. And he used it with his folder work. Me and my cats come in here and sit down. There's my little Juki. When I want to sew webbing, I sew it on this machine. You can't sew webbing on the needle awl machines, the harness machines, because you got a hook needle.
Oh yeah.
And they hook the cloth, you know, it doesn't work. And I got about 100 cookbooks. I collect cookbooks. And anything else that catches my eye. Old tools, old draftsman tools.
old marlin spike knife. Very cool. Schrade, maybe?
I just have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I was telling Goldie, I had to put casters under this machine so I could move it around in here, or I couldn't walk for it. Here's something of interest. There's some sand from the Sinai Desert. Moses probably walked on this. That's the real deal.
Wow. Got some pinks in there. That's cool.
You know, everybody ought to have a little bottle of sand out of Sinai Desert. Clinton, Washington. Now this one is Springdale. Was stamped the Morseth sheath with. This was Harris. I had a lot of Harris stuff. Most of his stuff, all the little things like this, Lloyd Hale threw away.
Oh,
when he
yeah.
come in the shop, he
Yeah.
just throw all that shit away, you know. And I'd have died to have it. This was part of the fixture. I've got the fixture that I drilled and tapped all the one-hand holes and put the handle on the one-handers.
Oh, yeah.
I kept it all. This was one of Harry's that was Harry Morseth's little punch for setting rivets. I ain't got a lot of this stuff left. This was the deer head stamp for stamping the tabs that held the handles.
Yeah.
And this one was a stamp of mine for stamping leather. R.L. Dozier, Springdale, Arkansas. I use Delrin stamps now. They're less expensive. That was a Russell stamp. And this was an old Morseth stamp. That's one that Harry and Steve used for stamping the blades. All them old Morseth blades
Yeah.
were stamped with this. And that's about all I got. I got a few little odds and ends that belong to him.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I just got, well, whatever, you know, whatever I saw that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
I got old tools. I collect old Brown and Sharp tools. I used to have a collection of straight razors, and I got rid of all of them. I got one or two left. I got old tools like this one. This is old planer tool for setting planer blades. Got to loosen it to be able to move it. I have no need for it. I just have them. It's an old Brown and Sharp set of mics with a standard. These are really old. These probably from the 30s or 40s. Old set of Vernier Calipers. Boy, there's some big ones.
Yeah.
They're old. And that's an old set of crafting mics down there that you won't ever see again. This is a set of, this is a layout tool for using on a granite block. It's a Vernier. I just like the old tools.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
This is a box Dale Wright made for me and took it somewhere and had my picture laser cut on it.
Yeah.
Put my logo. I got a little bulldog in it. One of his eyes fell out. Put it back in someday. Nobody really knows what it is. It was a container. And I've been told everything under the sun, you know, about, I think it was a snuff box.
Hmm.
And of course, down woolly mammoth leg bone.
Neat.
Here's something you won't see tomorrow, not anywhere. Look at these roller skates with two wheels. Now these belong to Morseth. They were her daddy's. They were made to put on your shoes. Now we had them with kids, but they had four wheels on them.
Right.
This is the only set I ever saw like this.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that.
And this is the way you put them on your shoe and tighten them.
Huh.
I got some old ice skates in the shop in town like that. There's a little Morseth knife. With leather. And that's what they use that deer head stamp for. To stamp that tab right there.
Gotcha.
Other than that, that's an old miner's lamp. An acetylene lamp, carbide lamp.
Oh, yeah.
They clipped on right here, and that's where you adjusted it, and the gas come out, and this was your striker, like striking a cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
It had a flint in it, and you put the flint in back here, and it was the carbide and water creates acetylene gas, and that's what it burnt with.
Ah.
And they still use them in mines to detect the oxygen content in the air. When that lamp wouldn't burn, you need to get your ass out because you're getting low on oxygen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Garfish Gig, I maybe want to see one of these. Not up here anyway. That was a Garfish Gig. When I was a boy, we'd go out and they would gig garfish in the spring. And had loose big. Somebody made it. It had about a 7-foot handle on it, about that big around, out of cypress, and it was tied to where when you gigged the gar, it would pull off the handle, and then the handle would float up because it was tied on the other end. And if you had to let it go, if it was too big to hold, you could chase him in the boat by watching the handle. Until he got tired, and you get him up close to the boat, and either shoot him or hit him in the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
And that's what that is, a loose beard gig. And that, of course, is, you know what that is. That's Usi. That's a walrus penis bone.
Really?
Yeah. That's a big one. Biggest one ever. So I got some smaller ones. But it's been stabilized. It's been pumped full of plastic.
Yeah.
I bought that somewhere a long time ago. It must have been one hell of a big walrus.
Yeah.
You know? Part of an ancient Eskimo sled that was a runner is a whale rib. That might be 2,000 years old.
Wow.
I got a big collection of compasses in town. I got ship compasses, I got Navy compasses, PT boat compass, and this is a Girl Scout compass from about the 50s. An old Taylor. You could tighten this up here and stop the needle from shaking. It wouldn't wear a hole through it. I had one, a black one, the Boy Scout, and I got older, I gave it to a kid next door, and he used it until the needle wore through, the pin wore through the needle, and he threw it away. I'd have gave anything to have it back.
Oh, yeah.
There wouldn't have any value to him anymore. This is one of my prizes. It's an old Winchester compass. It's a desk compass. You unscrew it and then very carefully screw it back on the bottom and set it on your desk. You always know where you're going. Winchester. I got a pretty good collection of coins. They're in town. I got SEAL team coins. I got all kind of military coins. I collected patches for a long time, and I about lost interest in them.
Mm-hmm.
This was Bob Levis's cup. He gave it to me. He had about 6 or 7 of these. And I never thought of it. I had him write his name on it with his marker.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I drank coffee out of this. It'll keep coffee hot half a day.
Nice.
It's an insulated cup.
Yeah, you never think of it till it's too late.
No, didn't think about it.
I should have had AG sign a lot more stuff.
I got a small collection of slide rules and don't have any idea how to read one. You know, I got a manual, I got a book on them, but I don't need to learn how.
Yeah.
That's what they make all the electronic tools for.
Mm-hmm.
I got Harry's old dies up there for punching the fiber sheaves before you mold them.
Yeah.
You gotta punch your holes in them. And the saws in town where he sawed the slot in them. This right here, it's not the box it come in. That's someone built this, but I've got 2 of these. This Navy ship compass. It don't matter. Originally, it turned on pin.
Yeah, right.
And somebody put it in the box. But I mean, you can't make that needle bounce.
Wow. That is really cool.
I got a pretty good collection of this stuff. I got a Navy PT boat compass.
Uh-huh.
This is interesting. Got all the degrees on it. Just something I saw, and I liked it.
Yeah.
You know, just like my pair of girls up there. I got 2 of them. I will never need another one. I got 8 or 10 Chris Reeves knives. I hadn't bought one in the last probably 3 or 4 years. I think he's a fabulous designer. I mean, you can't beat the knife. Now they all CNC. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. But they're perfect. Everyone's exactly perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful knife. It's unfortunate that he's not in the business anymore.
Yeah.
I'll take you down once in a while and look at them. This was a prototype that K-Bar made when I was making my lockbacks.
Uh-huh.
And I acquired. I don't even have a name on it. They quit making it, quit selling them. Good knife. Big knife.
Yeah.
I got 4 or 5 sets of cue balls. I got bowling pins. Most of that stuff's in town. That's about it. You about seen me.
Yeah, it's about everything. Well, thanks for showing me around.